I have to compliment President Biden on finally rallying the EU and supporting Ukraine. It's a little bit late, but at least it's happening now. And I hope that he puts his foot on the gas and doesn't take his foot off the gas when it comes to supporting. I also hope at the same time that the very right-wing faction of my party, who tend to be more isolationist, would reconsider their position and understand what happens, pointing specifically to the end of World War II, when you are an isolationist. And I hope that that's not going to be the case here.
Could you elaborate more on how you view the current state of the EU given the war on Ukraine?
Well, I've never seen the EU more unified than they are today. I mean, that's one of the problems with the EU in dealing with them, is most decisions of great import require unanimous consent by all 27 member countries. And it's not a majority rule situation where you just have to drag 50+1 over the finish line. You have to get everyone on board. So everyone uses, just imagine, for example, our own Senate or our own Congress having to get unanimous approval to do anything important. Nothing would ever get done. So the fact that the EU is actually all in on Ukraine's support today, and I hope it continues tomorrow, is nothing less than a miracle.
And how do you feel about the NATO expansion?
In terms of admitting Ukraine?
Admitting Ukraine, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge advocate of that. In fact, I wrote a piece where I advocated that Ukraine should immediately be admitted to the EU, even though they don't completely qualify on all of the technical requirements. And then those technical requirements should be laid out, and they should be given, say, an additional 5, 6, 7 years to comply, with a sunset provision that if they can't comply, then the EU reserves the right to remove them. But I think they should be brought in immediately to send a very strong message, not just to Russia, but to other autocracies, that they are firmly in the Western world, in the Western sphere, and that question is taken off the table.
Okay. And so you've praised President Biden for his handling of the war in Ukraine and the aid that he's provided. How do you feel about President Biden's other actions in terms of foreign policy?
Well, it's been a very, very mixed record. On Afghanistan, that was a disaster. President Trump had a conditions-based withdrawal that was proceeding according to our schedule and our timetable. And I thought the precipitous sort of acceleration of that withdrawal was purely for President Biden's political purposes and did not serve our country well and sent all of the wrong signals. And those signals were received loud and clear in Moscow. And I believe that played a part in the invasion that just took place.